We would talk about, the skin type. We would talk about if our student can make a connection to this because they came from Honduras. So we would just keep noticing, keep observing, and working on talking about similarities and differences. Oh, we have a student in here from Spain. And so when I pre-assessed my students, a lot of them said that this looks like our student from Spain. And so that is really good because they're making that connection. So I would bring that up again, and I would have my student from Spain, like raise her hand, and we could talk about how their hair is like long and blonde, but some people also have dark hair, and their skin is more of like a white tone. And this is because Spain is in Europe, and Europe is where white people came from. So we could talk about that if we had time to talk about that, because that is a very like deep concept to get into. So, and we have a student from Jamaica. I forgot all about that. We have a student from Jamaica, and we would talk about that, and he would make a connection because he actually wears dreads in his hair. And so I made sure to include someone with dreads because I wanted him to make that connection. And so we could talk about that. We could talk about, how their skin is a darker tone, and that, I could be like, look how beautiful their curls are, and look at these braids. And, we have some boys in our class that have these cuts like this, just helping them make those connections, helping them see that they're beautiful, and just kind of building that up, because society has kind of built this image of people with dark skin as, bad and not beautiful. And so I want to use this to build it up, build these people up, and have students, see themselves as beautiful, because these people are beautiful, and I want my students, especially my dark skinned students, to see themselves as beautiful too. So now we have Pakistan. So I included this because I really wanted students to see, like the lady with the hijab. We don't have any students in our class like this, but that are from Pakistan. But that shouldn't matter, because I could have a classroom full of all white students, and I would still include what I included. And I could have a classroom full of a mixture of students, like I do, and I would still include what I did, because we're teaching acceptance, we're teaching about similarities, and we're teaching about differences. And so I would have included this stuff anyways, because it is very important for them to know this, that, I could have them tell me what they notice. And I'm really, 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 really hoping that a student talks about, this on her head, which is called a hijab. And I have beautiful books about women and their hijabs, children books, that if I wanted to go deeper into it, we could talk about it. But I would talk about how, like in some cultures, women cover their heads because it's a sign of respect. And so just, it's still a beautiful thing. Just because it's not your culture doesn't mean it's not beautiful. So we could talk about how, like, in some cultures women cover their hair, so you can't see their hair at all, because this is what we're talking about, is we're talking about hair and skin tone. And so we could talk about how in some cultures you don't see women's hair at all. So, and then you could talk about how, like, men, they don't wear a hijab, they still show their hair. So we could talk about that. And then I wanted to include a country from Africa. So I included Ghana. And I wanted students to see, like,